Betrayal is one of the most painful experiences a person can go through. It rocks you to your core, makes you question everything you thought you knew. A lot of people think that once trust is broken, it's gone for good. But let me tell you something, that's just not true. Betrayal doesn't have to be the end. You can rebuild trust, even after a lie. We're going to talk about how to fix broken trust, the 3-step method therapists use, the mistakes that keep couples stuck, and how to finally move forward together. So if you're ready to stop the cycle of hurt and start rebuilding the trust you deserve, stick around. Let's talk about trust. Real trust, the kind that makes you feel safe and secure, isn't built overnight. It's built in the small, everyday moments. It's about consistency. It's about knowing that your partner is going to be there for you, no matter what. Think about it. When your partner picks up your favorite snack at the grocery store without you even asking, that builds trust. When they text you after work every day without fail, that builds trust. These little acts of love and consideration, they add up over time. They show you that you're a priority, that your needs matter. And that's what creates a solid foundation of trust. But just like trust is built gradually, it can be broken down gradually too. A forgotten promise here, a white lie there. These seemingly insignificant moments can create cracks in the foundation of your relationship. Now, after a betrayal, things change. You enter what I call the trust test phase. It's natural. It's human nature. You've been hurt, so you're on high alert, looking for any sign that it might happen again. You start questioning everything. You might find yourself checking their phone, scrolling through their social media, looking for any hint of dishonesty. But here's the thing about the trust test phase. It's a slippery slope. If you're not careful, it can turn into a self-fulfilling prophecy. The more you look for reasons not to trust, the more likely you are to find them, even if they're not really there. Over-testing creates an atmosphere of suspicion and distrust, and that can sabotage even the healthiest of relationships. The key here is to find a balance. See, a lot of people think that trust is about the lie itself, but that's not entirely true. It's about the feeling of safety that gets shattered. When someone lies to you, especially someone you love, it tells you that they don't feel safe being honest with you. It makes you question everything. It makes you wonder what else they might be hiding. And here's the thing, it doesn't have to be a big, dramatic lie to do real damage. Even a seemingly small lie, like telling your partner you're working late when you're really out with friends, can shake the foundation of trust. Because it's not about the lie itself, it's about what the lie represents. It represents a breach of trust, a lack of transparency. Here's the thing about betrayal. It often sets off a vicious cycle, what I call the betrayal spiral. It starts with a broken trust, right? One partner lies, the other partner feels betrayed. That betrayal leads to suspicion. The betrayed partner starts questioning everything, looking for more lies, more deceit. And what happens when you're constantly looking for something? You usually find it. This suspicion then leads to more secrecy. The partner who lied, they feel like they're constantly walking on eggshells, so they become even more secretive, even more guarded. But of course, that secrecy only breeds more suspicion, and the cycle continues. And folks, once you're caught in this spiral, it's incredibly difficult to break free. So how do you break free from this spiral? How do you even begin to rebuild trust after it's been shattered? Well, it's not easy, but it is possible. But let me be crystal clear, it requires commitment, hard work, and a whole lot of communication. And it starts with understanding the 3 non-negotiables for rebuilding trust. The first non-negotiable is full transparency. No more secrets, no more half-truths, no more lies by omission. The partner who broke the trust has to be willing to lay it all out on the table, to answer any and all questions honestly and openly. The second non-negotiable is patience. Rebuilding trust takes time. It's not a switch you can just flip back on. It's a process, and it's going to be messy and uncomfortable at times. And finally, the third non-negotiable is proof through actions. Now, I've worked with countless couples who have struggled to rebuild trust after a betrayal. And let me tell you, the #1 mistake I see couples make is rushing forgiveness. They think that by saying, "I forgive you," everything will magically go back to the way it was. But folks, it just doesn't work that way. Trust isn't a switch you can just flip back on. It's a rebuild. It's like a house of cards that's been knocked down. You can't just pick up the cards and expect them to stand on their own. You have to carefully rebuild the foundation, card by card, until you have a structure that's strong enough to stand on its own. Forgiveness is important, don't get me wrong, but it has to be earned. It has to be based on real, tangible change, not just empty promises. So, how do you start this rebuilding process? It starts with a conversation, a real conversation, not one of those circular arguments that goes nowhere. I call it the radical honesty conversation. This is where the rubber meets the road, folks. This is where the partner who broke the trust has to step up and take full responsibility for their actions. And I mean full responsibility. No excuses, no blaming, no minimizing. They need to be able to articulate exactly what they did, why they did it, and how they're going to make sure it never happens again. Now, this conversation can be incredibly difficult for both partners. The betrayed partner might be feeling a whole range of emotions: anger, hurt, betrayal, confusion. And the partner who broke the trust might be feeling ashamed, guilty, and afraid of losing the relationship. But as difficult as it might be, this conversation is essential. It's the first step in rebuilding trust. Once you've had the radical honesty conversation, it's time to put some action behind those words. And that's where the trust metric system comes in. This is about setting measurable, achievable goals that demonstrate a commitment to rebuilding trust. It's about creating a roadmap for accountability and progress. For example, if the betrayal involved secrecy around finances, a trust metric might be agreeing to share bank statements and credit card bills for the next 6 months. Or if the betrayal involved infidelity, a trust metric might be agreeing to share location data for a certain period of time. The key here is to work together to come up with trust metrics that are relevant to the specific situation and that will help rebuild trust in a concrete, tangible way. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, this sounds like a lot of work. And you're right, it is. But rebuilding trust after a betrayal isn't easy. Listen, we've all been there. We've all been hurt, we've all made mistakes. But the important thing is to learn from those mistakes and to come out stronger on the other side. Rebuilding trust after a lie, it's not about forgetting what happened. It's about choosing to move forward together, stronger and more connected than ever before. Take those steps, have those tough conversations, and start rebuilding the trust you deserve. You got this.